Everybody, it's Tyler here, checking here at the Lakeshore Qualifier. I'm here with team number 1259, Paradigm Shift, one of the top teams here in Wisconsin. Great looking robot here we're going to be talking about here on Behind the Bumpers. Of course, going through their intake, spindexer, shooter, climber, and more. And to help me out today is going to be Ben, Haley, Will, and Jeffrey. I can't wait to feature this robot. Of course, Pathfinder software as well, too. All coming up on Behind the Bumpers.
Giving you a voice.
Making it loud our own way.
Welcome to the fun.
We would like to thank our friends at Stryker for supporting fun so we can continue to make content for you. Stryker makes some of the most revolutionary medical equipment and is a big supporter of FIRST and its participants. If you are looking for an internship or career that supports you being in FIRST, check out careers.stryker.com to learn more. If your team or organization is hosting an off-season event, did you know you can stream it right here on FIRST Updates Now for free? Events that stream on FIRST Updates Now receive an additional 25 to 100% additional viewership because we help you promote your event on a large platform. If you're interested, reach out to us on any of our social platforms, on Discord, or send us an email at admin@firstupdatesnow.com. Let's get your off-season event streaming on FIRST Updates Now. Hurry, dates are booking fast, and we take first come, first serve for all our events.
So let's go into this robot here, starting out with the Swerve drive. This is the first year you guys have done Swerve on this brand new robot here, so talk to me a little about your experience, and we're going to then go into your intake as well.
Yeah, so during the pandemic, once that happened, we were able to meet during the summer of 2020, and when we did that, we were able to test Mark II Swerve drive, and we got a feel for it, and we decided during January for the 2021 season that this was something we wanted to pursue. We were really good at tank driving. We decided that, hey, this is a new opportunity. Since we know the game this year, we decided let's try Swerve Drive, let's try something new. Let's shake it up a little bit. So currently on our 2021 robot, we have Swerve Drive Specialty Mark III modules. And for the intake, when we deploy, we have it naturally up, and it sits via friction, and as robot deploys, it'll shake down. And one really interesting thing between the 2021 and the 2020 intake was the material that we used. One of the material that we changed was the polycarbonate. Last year we used metal. It was a really rigid construction. We had a lot of issues when we hit a robot because all the energy would be transferred through the entire robot.
Sure.
With this, it flexes. We sort of took inspiration from Team 930 from 2019. That we really love how it's able to just move to the side and if it hits something, and that's what we sort of drew inspiration from.
So yeah, it's kind of ironic almost because you need that flexibility. It's kind of like a crumple zone in a car, right?
Yeah,
Something
exactly.
like that. So this gets deployed and then it stays down the rest of the match,
yes,
right?
this is held down by gravity. Yep.
Okay, sounds good. And talk to me about this material that you are using for your rollers as well.
Yeah, so we were testing different types of materials like full noodle, and we came across this foam. I believe one of the mentors saw it online, and we decided, hey, this is something we want to test out. And that sort of goes with the entire season for 2021. Since we sort of knew what was going to happen, we decided to, be a bit more creative with our material choice, especially with polycarb and this type of foam. And so that's one of the things we sort of landed on.
Well, let's keep moving on here into the spindexer. This looks like an old-timey popcorn machine almost, right? With the two parts spinning around. So talk to me a little bit more about what's going on with this and how you came up with this concept.
So we decided to go with this instead of our last year design where it was basically a tube with wheels that fed balls up to our turret. And we decided to go with the spindexer this year because it kind of helps naturally agitate those balls as they come in, which prevents the jamming that happens when they go up into the turret.
So on the spindexer here, so there's been teams kind of that go a couple different ways, right? So some have the very open concept like you have here, and then there's some that kind of have the dividers set up. What made you choose this concept instead?
So with the dividers, it kind of prevented where the balls could go, and when the balls come in, they tend to find their own way and shift each other around, which with the dividers, it wouldn't be able to shift itself. So it actually naturally just worked itself out, which was really surprising for us.
Can we see a couple power cells come in then, and we'll see kind of how this intake and spindexer work together. So the other thing I noticed in here is that agitation you have. It's kind of how like almost a washing machine works, right? For that as well too. So that's, I'm assuming, meant to keep the balls moving so when you intake more they fall in?
Yeah, and normally it really helps going back and forth, and they tend to pile up on top of each other every once in a while, and that little back and forth moment can oftentimes just unclog them a little bit, keep it going through the turret, and make it really smooth.
Well, let's move on to Will, who's going to be talking about your shooter and climber. So, Will, talking about how the power cells are getting up into your shooter, and then I'd love to hear more about the flywheels that you're using on your shooter as well.
Sounds great. So right here we have an omnidirectional wheel that allows for, during the agitation, for power cells to slip past it when we're trying to move the cells around. So then, but when we need to, they go right past, they hit this omnidirectional wheel, and this little flywheel, rubber, like almost skateboard wheel in the back, and it lifts the wheel up and compresses it and feeds it to this turret right here. So we have a limelight right here with a turret system that has degrees of motion between our two climb bars. So then no matter where we are facing forward, we're always looking towards the target. And then here we have a Neo one-to-one drive, one-to-one drive, and we have these flywheel weights to have constant speed. Last year we only had 2 of these flywheel weights. It's because we didn't have enough room because we had the Neo directly mounted on the side. But now that we added this belt, now we're able to have more weight, so then our flywheel remains a constant velocity, so then our ball shooting is more consistent.
One thing I want to ask you is decision to go with only 1 Neo on here. With that extra weight, it must take a little bit to spin up. So when you were kind of weighing like how your motor allocation was going to go, what made you choose to go with just 1 Neo?
So we kind of just looked at it. We only needed it to slowly ramp up in the beginning.
Sure.
So since our shooter never slows down, it's going the entire match.
So you keep the entire match going. That makes sense then.
So we didn't really need another one. On sensor, with all the flywheel weight, it allows it so we don't need to have 2 to keep up that same speed.
So take us next into your climber, how that works and some of the concept. Interesting with the springs on it too.
Yeah, so we pull energy from these constant force springs, also known as like Vulcan springs, and we have these nesting tubes. Now we have this 3D printed PETG piece with constant force springs that go all the way down to the next tube within it. And this is providing constant force, wanting the nesting tubes to pull upwards. So we have a spring right here that assists the hook to swing upwards and then stay upwards. Because what's also helping the spring is the fact that the pulley right here wants to make it centered between our mounted posts here and here. And we have the string mounted over here on an eye hook that wraps around here and goes down to this ratcheting system where we have a ratchet right here that we can switch between going forward and backwards. So then we can put up our climb and then we can reset it later on.
So let's wrap up on this robot here, talking about some of your autonomous, specifically in Pathfinder as well too, and Jeffrey's going to be coming in and talk a bit more about it. And we got a little demonstration on your screen, so talk to me about what you have there, anything else on your robot as well.
Yeah, so in previous years we've used Tank, and we mainly relied on relatively simple autonomouses, like just drive straight, turn angle, and those things like that. But we wanted to take advantage of Swerve, obviously, this year. And so we ended up finding a software online called Pathfinder, made by Team 3015. And yeah, shout out to them. And we've been just using the software to design our paths, create an array, and then just feed that into our robot to run every match.
Well, Paradigm Shift 1259, a fantastic team here out of Wisconsin. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us about your robot and your team. I can't wait to see what your team's going to produce in future years as well. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We would like to thank our friends at Stryker for supporting this video. Stryker is looking for current and future FIRST alumni to join their internship program, and FIRST mentors who are looking for a great career with a company who actually supports their FIRST journey. Go to careers.stryker.com to learn more. You can also directly support Fun by joining Fun Nation. Click the join button, and just for a few bucks a month, you'll unlock special perks and directly support us so we can keep making great content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on our new videos. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. Watch our live shows at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow. And check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.